Bell and Company.
Yes, it is. Another edition of the wonderful show we do here with Intellectual Radio. I'm Mario J. Bell. It is Bell and Company. And that voice you heard there was Libby. Hey, Libby.
Hi, I'm in a snarky mood tonight.
Okay, I see. I could tell from when you were in the lobby there. And then, of course, we have Joe. Hey, Joe Brunker.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, hanging in there.
Oh, fantastic. Same.
The health is keeping up. We'll hopefully. I'm back to normal. I think so. I was going to talk about it last week and I forgot. We got sidetracked. I actually had a checkup and everything looked good.
That's good. I'm
still
glad
ticking.
to hear.
So
glad to know you're ticking.
Yeah, and hopefully it keeps on ticking. Just
How's
like
that $500 medication working out for you?
Yeah, right. That's the thing. The meds are expensive. I don't like that
part. I was in the
part
pharmacy the other day and I heard other people's bills. I'm like, whoa.
Have
Even
you checked?
the guy had no insurance. It was like $70. I'm like, whoa.
No free lunch with the medication. That's for sure.
Have you checked the website GoodRx?
It
Still,
gave me like $200 instead of $400. Like, okay, whatever.
Well, that's
but
better,
but the good news is we're here, we're doing well, and I'm okay. That's the best part of it.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that.
Even
and
though
she's
you
in a
piss
bad
me
mood.
off,
Libby's
I
in
still
a bad
like
mood.
you.
Okay. Well, you know what? He's been sitting here patiently wondering when we're going to say something.
Oh, yes.
Let's welcome our guests to the studio here. How are you? I actually know you guys. I've seen one of your, I don't remember where, some hotel locally in the area, one of your seminars a long time ago. Like, I don't know, like 4 years ago.
Okay.
So, well, go ahead. Just introduce yourself. What do you call yourself?
Yeah. I guess, we started with my name. My name is Sam Kwak.
But well, I was going to say it, but I'll let you say it. The Kwak brothers, right?
Yeah. So my brother and I, Daniel, we're known as the Kwak brothers. We're in real estate finance business for, over a decade now.
Well, I didn't know that you knew Joe, by the way.
Yeah.
That was
college.
Nothing.
Joe knows everybody.
It seems like it. Joe knows a lot of good people.
Yeah. He's well connected, right?
I like getting to know people, becoming friends with people and following them and their journey. And it's been awesome to follow your guys' journey from exactly like I said, your first company at Olivet.
Yeah,
I thought Joe maybe met you at one of your seminars, but no, you guys actually went to college together. Is that right?
Yeah, Olivet Nazarene.
Good school.
Go Tigers.
Free plug, yeah.
I always thought for some reason that it was in River Forest, Illinois, which is another college that's similar.
Mm-hmm.
It's Dominican University, which is related to the high school I went to. I think it's the same, same religious order that runs it. I don't know about.
Actually, that one's Catholic.
Yeah, so that's the thing. I don't know. I always got those two mixed up, though.
Yeah.
In fact, I got accepted to Olivet. I didn't go.
Okay.
I went to college at DuPage, believe it or not. Local.
Okay.
I stayed local.
Know this.
But anyway, so I don't know. Do you go to colleges with your stuff? Teach college course at all?
I actually spoke at Olivet this past what was that? Like June or April, May?
Tony Fightmaster told me about it.
Yeah. Tony, that's right.
I met up with him a couple weeks ago.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
again, Joe knows everybody.
Apparently, yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. So this was my second time being back to speak along with my brother. And that's when you know they love you, right? So or so I think. But
well, they invited you back again, so that's good news, right?
So it's expected that I'll speak again next year, I think. Not my place to say that, but obviously, I
so
do
that was
stuff.
you there as like a guest speaker, alumni, not necessarily doing your program, holding like the
Isn't
seminar
there like
itself.
A course?
No, it was more a talk about entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So Olivet's taking a very serious commitment. So it seems from an outsider perspective towards their entrepreneurship program, which
awesome.
I'd say all power to them. I think we need more entrepreneurship at every industry field of expertise, arts and science. I'm glad that they're making that move.
It's a great move for sure.
Yeah.
There's a whole program there to get people into instead of just being ready to go into a job to actually try to
and
invest in
what I
herself.
appreciate
in order to fire your boss.
Yeah, right.
Fire your boss.
I have your books.
Nice. No, the one thing I appreciate about and no, Olivet didn't pay Joe or I to.
I was
say all
just
these
going to ask. It's funny you're thinking that because I was just going
Right.
to say that. That sounds like they're promoting. They hired you guys.
No,
over there.
I'll
Speaking
give
of
you like a
firing your
20-second spiel, and this will be my this will be the only plug. But I the only really the thing I appreciate about them is they're actually not teaching just concepts in theory, but they've invested into a lab where a studio where students can actually book studio to create content.
Nice.
And publish. And that's honestly how Daniel and I started our business. We started creating YouTube videos in our own dorm room, and that's what ultimately kicked off our services and products. So I
Interesting.
think that was a fantastic decision to do that.
Well, so wait, the Entrepreneur Studio is literally to make content like online content,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're talking about for
Yeah.
YouTube, or
Instagram.
like they have like business. What do they call
Yeah.
those? When they have like the I forget what they call aggregator or something. I forget the word, but where they
Yeah.
get together and you like network and you know hit
Yeah.
ideas off each other. That's not what it was. You're actually
You're talking
making a
about
show,
incubator, right?
Yeah.
Talking about an incubator. Yeah.
Incubator,
think tank.
Thank you.
You know, in a sense too.
But that's not where it is. It's
I
actually.
don't know. You know, I mean, that's the one thing that impressed me a lot was they developed a studio for the students to use it for, you know, start a YouTube channel or
Phenomenal.
yeah, it was
That's
just
cool.
great. I think
So become an
easiest way to get started.
entrepreneur in the media.
Yeah, I think every entrepreneur today
Tends to
needs
start there.
yeah, it needs a format or a channel for media, right? Whether it's podcast, radio like this, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, right? Whatever the case might be. I think every entrepreneur needs to have a voice.
It's funny you say that because that's
Yeah.
that's why I like doing
Yeah,
this, because
this is
I'm
great.
having people like you
Yeah,
on
this is a
to
great
talk about
platform,
it.
yeah.
And then if you want to do your other show, your own show, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
Do you
But
guys
that's-
utilize TikTok? I didn't know.
We're now just getting into it.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, we work with a partner company. They take all of our content and then they
Splice it.
splice it for all the different platforms.
What
That's all
about
it'll be.
what about at Olivet? Was it only for a YouTube channel then, or was wherever they wanted to?
I think it's
go?
wherever. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big deal. I wish I had this. I didn't have any of this in high
Oh, yeah.
school and college.
Yeah.
Well, my last year of college I did, but that was more of
Right.
I went to a trade school
Okay.
while I was finishing college, and that was all hands on. That was
Mhm.
internship. In fact, it was one of the best jobs I had. Was right out of my internship.
How did you blow it?
I didn't blow it. I'm still here. What do you mean? But no, it was at WLUP Radio, which is not even around anymore.
Oh,
Huge
that's
station
true,
in
yes.
Chicago. But I wish they were doing that. And I don't know. Olivet's I would consider smaller. It's not like in the
No.
top. It's not a Big
Close to
Ten
like
school.
it's
right?
like 4,500 students at
Yeah,
most, probably.
That's
Yeah.
still fairly large.
Yeah, it's still a
but-
nice sized school, without a doubt, but definitely smaller than.
Yeah, I
State
mean, it's not
college,
University of
yeah.
Illinois, and they have
Correct.
a program like I think that's awesome. Did you help get it going?
So I think my brother played a bit of a role in that. Not a huge or significant. You know, we do make certain intellectual and financial contributions, but yeah, a little bit, I guess. You know, I can't take all the credit. There's, I think, key people that I think are playing a much bigger and significant role than we are, and all power to them as well. I applaud them for it. So,
Are there a lot of local businesses helping out?
yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
good, good.
Yeah.
Well, let's back up. We kind of jumped right into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Let's talk about how obviously you know Joe through college. What
Right.
got you into doing the whole business thing? You know, the seminars. Let's talk about everything.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of time.
Oh man, so let me backtrack a little bit more to high school, right? So I think every kid graduating from high school has that big daunting question of what do I do with my life, right?
Oh yeah.
I blew that a long time ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still got time.
Libby knew, or you
I
blew it?
too. I blew it a long time ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
You got
never
time.
did it.
Yeah.
Well, you had a
too
nice
old.
opportunity.
She had a kid,
Oh, okay.
so
Well,
she
when I was
had a
21,
family.
but after the fact of high school, I met this guy. It's a long story, but go on.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
You're
You were
good.
in the middle
Yeah.
of telling us about your high school
Yeah.
experience.
Daunting question for everybody. What did I want to do? And for some reason, I've always liked the idea of the military, right? So literally, I turned 18. 3 days later, I literally enlisted in the United States Army. But
right
I
out of
had-
high school.
but I had to compromise because I thought about wanting to go active, but my parents were on the side of, hey, like let's get you to college, right?
like ROTC program.
Yeah.
Reserve,
So I did a bit of a compromise where I told them, okay, I'll do the Army thing, but I'll do the National Guard Reserve, where you do 1 week in a month, and then the other days I'll go to school. So end up going through the base training, come back and still had this big question: what did I want to do? Because I got back, I think. Like,
don't you have to pick a profession while you're serving though, right?
Yeah. So I had a really short training, right?
Okay.
Like, it was like the entirety was like 4 months. It wasn't too terribly long. I got back, it was like October, because I went to basic training I want to say June. So I got back in October, and I thought about getting a job. For some reason I didn't like the idea. January rolled around, and I enrolled into school, my first semester, and literally like 10 days into my first semester, this is January, like super duper cold. I was driving down the street and I had this epiphany of like, hey, I actually want to start a business. And back then, what I was doing for fun, and I knew I could make money off of this, being in a college campus, is I used to DJ for bars and clubs.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's actually kind of how I initially connected with Joe in the first place. So I used to DJ for fraternities, sororities, different bars and clubs. And that ended up just being, hey, what if I did that for like weddings and certain events?
Well, wait, with the military though, don't they make you still pick and go to training for a specific MOS, whatever they call, whatever?
Yeah, 1 weekend a month, right?
Okay.
So I still had 4 other weekend, and I was 19, right? And my biggest concern was, well, I'm gonna miss out a weekend of DJing.
Oh, okay.
That's the 20.
So you were focused on DJing.
Yeah. So the 19-year-old brain thinks that way, right? It's like, oh my gosh, that's one less weekend, right? That I can go and DJ and make a little bit of cash on the side.
He's a good DJ.
Because it would have been 3 weekends that you had free, and one you go to the
correct, and then
wherever they send you.
Back then it was Fort Sheridan, so this was I don't know if you guys know where this is.
And then where I did the National Guard, that's why I know about it. The Illinois National Guard Army. And I remember I had some health issues back even then. It's like
you had a tax issue. Who are you kidding?
Yeah, well, I had some taxes, things going on. Anyway, but the point is, I picked my MOS, and they were telling us it was 1 month. I don't know, every 6 months or something. You serve for like a full month or whatever, and then it's 1 weekend a month. So and then they activated us.
Right, two
to
weeks
go full time.
2 weeks out of a year, which is almost always during the summer months.
Okay,
which wasn't bad. 2 weeks, you got paid. It was terrible. One time they sent us off to Utah for 2 weeks. Beautiful. We got out at 3 and went out and checked out the scenery. So I didn't complain. It was great.
So you had time still to be a DJ and go to college.
Oh yeah,
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I did a year of that, year in this school, and then I transferred to Olivet. There's a whole different story with that. Went to Olivet, started DJing there too. And if you know anything about Olivet, very conservative, super traditional, no dancing is allowed, right? Or at least sanctioned dancing.
Yeah.
Right.
Kind of like
Joe knows everything about it.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Just like
Footloose.
Yeah, Footloose.
So there wasn't any dancing on the campus itself. So I remember this is February or March of 2012 or 2013, because it's been a full year. We decided to throw our first dance party, quote unquote, and that was the glow party. I don't know if Joe, if you remember that.
I was there for.
You were there,
at
okay.
least 2 or 3 songs.
Wait a minute, they let you have parties but no dancing at the parties, or?
Well, no, we had to I had to go and rent a hotel ballroom.
Oh, okay.
And then charge the students. I think it was like $10-12.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't even remember,
like that.
but it was fun.
It was off of the campus.
Was cool.
Yeah, it was off of the campus.
And we had like 200 students at the ballroom.
Okay.
We were kicking butt.
People are itching to do for something out there. If not, they go to this big rock thing called the moon.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So that's we did that for like 2 years, barely making money because it's you're doing that maybe once a month,
right?
And then I remember Joe knows this, the basement of Ludwig, which is the cafe, like the school cafeteria,
red room area.
Yeah, I had another epiphany. Call it a God thing, but I had an epiphany where like I think I'm ready to hand this over. Like I'm ready to be done with this.
Okay.
Right around the time I started reading being an entrepreneur, started reading other books. I finally got into reading, which was weird because you go through high school expected to read, To Kill a Mockingbird or Huckleberry Finn, and really didn't interest you, right? For most guys,
you just they wanted you to know about the story, right?
But I didn't know there were books about making money, And I'm like, wait, you mean I can read books that tells you how to win at making money? I'm like,
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
right,
That's a big one.
Yeah. So actually, that was one of my first few books. The very first book that I picked up that I actually really enjoyed was The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Oh,
by
that's really
Stephen
good.
Covey, right?
Yeah.
Covey's a great writer.
Yeah, I read that and I'm like, dude, like, give me some more. And read a book, and this is gonna be so cheesy. Read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah, well, I know about him.
No, he's got a podcast.
Robert
heard a few of
Robert, yeah, and
he was tied in with the former president at one point. Too.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and picked that book up, and that's when I knew, oh my gosh, this is the next business opportunity to get into real estate. And so that's what kind of that was the rabbit hole that led me to literally binge watching videos on real estate, going to different seminars.
And you're still in school.
I'm still in school. I'm
Right, okay.
21 at this point.
And still in the
22.
military then.
Still in the military too.
Okay.
So literally like school, military, and then I got this new profound desire, idea for real estate, and literally said, you know what, I'm gonna sell my DJ business. So what I ended up doing is I literally liquidated everything I had, all the gear, all the equipment.
Didn't you buy an apartment building soon after that, or like?
So that comes later. So
Okay, yeah.
So I liquidated all that and just literally spent all that money and just investing in the next thing, right?
Okay.
Whether it was education or, being able to break bread with some of the people that were extremely successful, buying courses, buying coaching programs, and that was 2014. Yeah, 2014. And so that's when it all kind of kicked off for me. Started going to seminars, and pretty much from 2014 to 2017, I've only told friends that I'm doing real estate, right? I wasn't actually doing anything substantive in the real estate field because it's like, it's one of those things like, I'm going to do it. And you just keep talking, right? Like, and call it manifestation or whatever you want to call it. But
did you ever get a real estate broker's license?
No.
Okay.
So actually a lot of people ask me about that. But I knew that wasn't the route that I wanted to go. I wanted to get into just buying,
just invest in it. I gotcha.
Right. But obviously the problem is, my last name's not Trump. I don't have a dad that can give me a small loan of $1 million, right? My last name's not Rockefeller or Carnegie or some of these big names.
Yeah.
So obviously the challenge was I didn't have any money. I didn't have any established credit. Broke as a broken bee, right? Credit card debt up the wazoo, burning through savings, burning through all the money that I've made.
Like every other young entrepreneur.
Right, yeah, right. And then the breakthrough. The things that I had to do to keep paying rent. At one point I was driving for Uber, just to keep paying for rent. And I had, kind of like Joe, had this profound skill for marketing. And
I was really good with that. You were right.
Yeah, I was
guerrilla marketing king over there.
I was good at building websites, anything that had to do with computer. I was really good at, and so I paid through pretty much my apartment bills by building websites for people, businesses, driving for Uber, and then the rest of the time I was using to just trying to grind something up. And so pretty much from 2014 to 2017, I was basically, this is a terrible way to say it, but faking it until we make it, kind of thing, right?
I think a lot of people.
Part of me was gonna say that when you were talking about, like around that boundary a couple minutes ago. I was like, fake it till you make it.
Just get there. Just pretend.
Manifest it.
Right?
Oh, when you brought that up, I was like,
I don't like to use that word or the phrase, right? Fake it till you make it, because
it's not necessarily faking it.
Correct.
It's just taking that active effort, but while
not
being able to divide
yourself
your time
out in your head, though. It's almost like a mental thing,
right?
Too.
So,
not necessarily literally faking it.
Yeah.
Well, you could be literally.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, I think the better term I would use is I was documenting well. And here's what I mean by that is properties that I was looking at, houses that I was looking at. Again, mind you, I didn't have any money to buy any of these properties, right?
Okay.
I walked in, I would have a real estate agent show the property to me, and I would literally walk in with zero intent to buy the property. I felt bad half the time because I would walk into these houses, the real estate agent showing me the houses, and I'm like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm not buying this. I'm just here to just
and they want
understand
you to.
the
They-
process.
I was
Yeah,
guilty
just
of
wanna
that when they
understand.
tried to sell me a vacuum cleaner. One.
Yeah, so I was just trying to like get close as possible, right? I think takes a lot of faith, right? To say you don't have the money, you don't have the credit, but you're just showing up, right? Just show up at every opportunity I can get. And what I was doing is I was taking pictures in front of these houses and going, hey guys, I would say something like, hey guys, I just analyzed this property. If I were to buy it, I can profit this, and this. So more so I was going through all the mental exercises, like simulation, if you will.
Well, when you
All
say document,
possibilities.
when you say document, you mean you were doing the podcast thing, or
No, it's just videos.
just videos?
Yeah, so that's-
YouTube videos, or
This
not
is
that
where
yet?
the YouTube video comes into play. Is
Oh, okay.
The things that I was learning in the process of literally doing that, I was just sharing. Right? That's literally all I was doing. I was, hey, like guys, I learned today about this thing called creative financing, right? Or I just learned how to do X, Y, and Z. So, I was just documenting all that on Facebook. And what made 2017 or 2016 different is a family friend of mine finally caught wind of what I was doing. And 2016, 2017, I don't know the exact context of this, but the stock market wasn't doing so well. At least, and I don't know the exact time frame, but all I remember was there was a bit of a downturn. Yeah. And the family friend called me and said, hey, the stock market's not doing well. I've always wanted to get into real estate. I have this money set aside. I see that you and Daniel are in real estate. I want to invest my money with you guys.
Oh,
And I'm like, whoa, like, what is this? Right.
and those videos were
yeah.
convincing to him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And so the family friend said, hey, I have this amount of money. I want to get into real estate. I want to obviously make money. And it's funny because he said, clearly you and Daniel know what you guys are doing. Right.
Okay.
And all we're doing is just documenting and learning. And
Well, you did your research.
Yeah. And researching and doing all that, which again, at this point, we haven't bought a single real estate at this point. But yet someone saw the process that I was documenting and said, hey, I'm willing to invest this X amount of dollars with you guys. And so 2017 came around.
I need some of those family friends.
Right. 2017 came around, found our first property. It was a fix and flip, literally one of those like HDTV flip or whatever the show names are called these days.
Weren't you guys going to
What,
start a show?
We
kind
were.
of?
We
Yeah,
were
for a
pitched
bit. Yeah.
few
There you
show
go.
ideas, yeah. And so the first property we did was literally in this like the most ghetto like part of the city ever. Like like super like to the point where I almost
Where
felt
was
like
this? In Chicago?
in Chicago, south side
Illinois?
Chicago,
Okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Just to give you some frame of context, I bought the property for $25,000.
Wow.
Okay, $25,000.
Okay.
Right? That's
Was it a HUD or was it?
No, it was just like
There's a lot of depressed. The city
Yeah,
gives
there's
some
a
away.
lot of rough areas.
Boarded
with a lot of-
up,
yeah.
The city
Right.
gives them away, then you pay the taxes.
Yeah.
Fix it up.
yeah, boarded
So,
up. I mean,
yeah.
all the copper pipes were stolen, right? That kind of property. Went in, put 25 grand in. So bought it for 25, put another 25 in from the investment we got, and then we sold it for 75.
Oh,
so
not
no,
bad.
you know, that was our first real estate deal. That was
How long did it take?
6 months, 4
Okay.
months. So it
That's
wasn't
pretty good.
terrible.
Nice.
right?
Not bad.
Good flip around.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yeah. So did that. And then simultaneously, because that was going, obviously other people caught wind. I'm like, oh, these guys are actually doing something. Momentum started rolling in. And so I think this was April, I want to say. April or May, we buy a buy and hold, a rental property. And then it was like June where we ended up buying, I want to say, an 8-unit apartment building.
Nice.
And we were able to find more of these people who were investors who obviously saw what we were doing and said, hey, you guys clearly know what you're doing. Here's X amount of dollars. I want to invest with you guys. And that's what ultimately kind of trickled and started everything. Things got faster and faster that year where
This is now 2018 or
This is
still
2017.
Oh, still 2017.
so
Okay.
2017 we had started out with 0 real estate. And then by the end of the year, we had 82 rental units
Wow.
by the end of the year. And that was all in accumulation of, again, just having investors come in saying, hey, I want to invest my money with you guys.
So you went from one depressed house to
Yeah.
82 units.
82
was that around the
units, yeah.
time you wrote your book?
We wrote the book a year after.
Oh,
Yeah.
year after.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
perfect.
we
We didn't even get to that yet. We wrote a
Mhm.
book.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So we basically
I have it.
doc-
It's signed.
yeah, we had it. We had the entire process documented in the book because we were like, how did that happen, right? So we went back and try to recollect all the things that have happened, what skills we've learned, what strategy we used.
Within that year, you were turned all this, the videos and everything, into actual
into a book,
manuscript to a
correct.
book.
Yeah, and it
Okay.
ended up being like 270 pages around.
Okay, what's the name of that book?
It literally is called 0 to 75 units in 1 year.
Oh,
we
okay.
downplayed it a little bit just because it sounded
By the
better.
Kwak brothers.
Yeah.
And then you did Fire Your Boss soon after that?
No,
Or
Fire
was that-
Boss was 2015.
Oh, 2015.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Wait a
way
minute. So
earlier,
you
yeah.
had written a book?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
we didn't talk about that part.
And I wrote that book more so to prove myself that I can do it.
Okay.
It was more so
You were DJing though at that time.
that was a transition time. So that
Okay.
was when I was transitioning from the DJing to real
YouTube
estate.
and real estate.
Yeah.
Interesting. So wait. So how many books have you written? I didn't know there were that many.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Fire Boss was the first one. 0 to 75 unit was co-written by my brother and myself, and we have another good friend named Levi McPherson.
Okay.
Also in the real estate sales space. And then the third one I wrote, this can get super deep. A book about personal finance, specifically in paying off a mortgage faster. So, I mean, they all kind of touch each other, and there's ways that they connect. But the third book, we wrote it, and I'm actually in the process of rewriting it now, just because there's just,
like a
just
second edition or something.
Little
Yeah,
tweaks
there's
you
just
want to revise. Yeah.
right. There's just a bunch of
For
details
the
that I feel
paperback
like-
or something for the
Yeah.
audio, right?
yeah, there's a bunch of details that I felt like I needed to add, just the stuff that I've learned over the last couple of years. So,
Awesome.
Do you have CDs with it too, or like do you know where you could listen?
audiobook.
audiobook,
Yeah,
thank you.
0 to 75
CD,
unit has an audiobook. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, I totally didn't catch that part reading up about you. I just know that you do the seminars. Like I said, I
Yeah.
went to one. But again, so you're in 2017, 2018. You've already written a couple books then.
Yep.
You've got all these units.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so now what's going on in between that and now?
Yeah. Yeah. So
what about your brother's role and things?
Yeah.
We got plenty of time.
for sure. So Daniel plays as our kind of the chief investment officer for the real estate stuff. So not to get into too much of a detail as to how we're structured, but so we have a real estate company that's all our real estate investments, buying apartments, buying storages. There's also even
You still do fix and flips too then?
so we stopped doing fix and flips.
Oh,
We
okay.
we just my philosophy with it, and I know some people might disagree. My philosophy with it is that I don't like having to do a particular deal where I get paid once and it stops. It stops, right? I like the big checks. I mean, believe me, like
Yeah, but
know.
it's not that steady quote
correct.
unquote passive income every month. I get
Yeah,
it. Rental
so
income.
Consistent liquidity.
yeah, consistent. Yeah, I mean, the quote unquote mailbox money, which is a misnomer too, because there's no such thing.
No,
right?
I know, but
Yeah.
I've heard that term many times.
Yeah, but close to being passive as possible, right? So yeah, Daniel plays a role in that. Daniel also plays a CEO in one of our companies called Accelerated Banking, which is kind of our
What's it called? Say it again.
accelerated banking.
Accelerated bank.
Yeah, so it's kind of our flagship business at this point. It does most of our revenue. It's kind of the entry gateway, business for all of our different things that we do. So we have an active business. This is ordinary business. We have customers and clients, and we have our holding business, which kind of is a lot of the stuff that I talked about. Buying real estate, buying.
It's kind of like the
properties.
umbrella.
Yeah, it's more of a long-term asset. Buying buildings, right? So this is stuff that I know won't pay the bills tomorrow, but it will pay for things 10 years from now.
I get
Right.
that. Definitely.
So I'm in the philosophy, and the philosophy that I teach is everyone should have fast money and slow money. So
Oh, I like
fast
that.
money is stuff that pays your bills tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Puts food on the table, takes care of all the things that you need like this week. Slow money is the stuff that's 3, 5, 10, 20, 30 years, or even past your lifetime. Stuff that's going to pay for your next generation, really long-term investments, right?
I got it.
So, investing in, stock market,
Well, what about
What's your
like
thoughts
all
on
costs-
crypto?
Well, wait, hold on before you answer that.
yeah.
He mentioned umbrella company. Which would be the umbrella company for you then? It wouldn't be the real estate investing. It'd probably be the
Yeah,
the
we have
what was it?
multiple.
Accelerated.
Yeah, we have multiple companies. One of them is Accelerator Banking, and they're all under one company, literally called the Kwak Brothers. And that's what my brother and I pretty much own all their business through. So,
Got it.
not to get into crazy illegal
No, I get it. Because
conversation,
it
but yeah.
it said it on
No,
your
definitely.
website. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I get it. So that they're doing, because I was trying to get a little idea before the show and
Yeah.
what little Joe had told me about, what you guys are doing like today and how you got into all this. Because
I like to keep you guessing.
I definitely, well, I
Yeah.
want to know now. I mean, he's on the air telling us, but I'm very interested. In fact, that's my other business is I'm a commercial property manager.
Oh, okay.
I don't just do radio broadcasting. And
Okay.
we're always looking for stuff.
Yeah, so like obviously, with the right attorney and CPAs, they'll tell you to structure certain entities, right?
Yeah, and we
where-
have several.
Oh yeah,
Too
yeah,
many,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
Actually,
so that like
that's why it's funny you're talking about it too.
yeah, so that like you're not personally liable for some of the things that could happen.
Each property should have one. I don't know if we want to get into details like that,
man,
but each property should have an
a whole
LLC.
a whole different rabbit hole conversation there.
Yeah, I know. We'll have you back for that.
Yeah,
'Cause that's a
right?
long one.
Preface. I mean, I'm not an attorney. I'm not although I thought about being one, but
You could be if you really wanted to.
yeah,
Let's
maybe,
be honest.
maybe.
What about
You're
the
a pilot
military?
right now.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Yeah.
what are you doing besides? Well, you're busy with the real estate investing in your company, but you're no more military, right? That's over.
No, I left the military in 2018.
Okay.
It was kind of a silent breakup. Like I stopped showing up after I stopped showing up for the last month. Drill, and then 2 years later they handed me a discharge paper, and that was that.
That sounds familiar. I had a similar
Yeah.
situation, but I had just gone. I mean, I was within a year of being in when I had some
Okay.
issues going on. But mine was because they didn't tell me a lot of stuff. I can
Okay.
just say
They
the
lie.
recruiters left out a lot of stuff.
Oh, I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
anyway, enough about that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
anyway, so you're not in the military where you're full into this. But I saw you maybe 3 years ago now. I think it was in not too far from here. I want to say like Oak Brook area of Chicago,
Okay.
somewhere local.
If it was Downers Grove, then it had to
Downers Grove.
It had to be more than 5 years ago because
Okay.
I
Maybe it
was with a group. I'm no longer with them. We split, I think, end of 2018. Basically, I was working with them as a marketer, helping them market certain services, and then broke off to kind of do our own thing. And that's the start of all of our active businesses that we have today. So,
but I thought it
yeah.
said Kwak Brothers. Maybe it didn't. I'm trying to remember now.
yeah,
because
they might still be using our names. I don't know.
I recognized your
mills.
logo when I was looking,
okay.
looking up info on you. I'm like,
Interesting.
wait, I've
Yeah.
been to their seminar.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it wasn't. I think it was in Downers Grove, Illinois.
Yeah. So we split up with that group. 2019, early 2019.
It's already 5 years ago.
Oh yeah. Started our own thing, and that blew up. Took off. Became an 8-figure thing. So yeah, we're just trying to scale that, grow that. Right now, it's fun. Lots of fun things happen in that side of the business. At the same time, we do real estate deals. Again, slow money, fast money. It's
We don't have
balance.
all day for that, but I would like to. When you what's slow money? You talk about fast money. Where do you get the slow money?
Didn't you
What-
pay attention?
specifically? No, he didn't say
Yeah.
specifically where the slow money's come
so
from.
slow money is stuff that
Like investments.
Investments,
it's
right.
not. It's
Even I got that.
yeah, like you're not you're not touching it probably for 5 years or more, right?
Okay.
If you want the technical thing, like technical perspective, like think long-term capital gains, right? So
Okay.
right, like
Got it.
anything 1+ year kind of thing.
I'm letting the audience get clarification. I may have heard it, but I want to make sure everybody else heard it because
Well, I heard it.
So
trying
aside
to get it all in here. He's got a lot going on.
aside
Yeah.
from stock, do you play with bonds as well, or is that
No, so I don't. The two areas of investment I feel like I feel the most comfortable is private equity and real estate. That's it.
Okay.
Private
I
equity
never
means
mentioned
business.
stocks. You weren't talking about stocks. You was talking about real estate.
Yeah, I've
you
dabbled.
brought up stock a
Yeah,
little
I
bit.
dabbled
Yes,
in
he did.
stocks a little bit. I mean, I have my own personal 401k because apparently now it's a law in Illinois where every employee needs to have a 401k.
I did not know
Supposedly,
that.
I'm not following. I'm in Indiana based with our
Oh,
company,
okay.
so
Well,
I
lucky
don't know if
you.
they have the same rules.
Yeah, no, they just made it a rule where I think 6 or more employees, if you are in Illinois, you have to You have
Provide
to offer
one.
401k. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to provide.
And it's amount of employees. Okay.
Yeah,
got
and
it.
I fall in that category, unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Right, it's good and bad, right?
Yeah, good and bad. Because I am technically an employee of my own company. So, but I feel like I'm comfortable with private equity, which is a fancy way of saying buying businesses, and then real estate and everything else. Like people ask me about crypto and stocks. I'm like, dude, I don't.
So
I
wait,
don't
you would do
understand.
like the Shark Tank thing where you guys would
I actually would, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
interesting.
We're considering buying a company right now. Actually, half of the company. We're looking into it right now. We're in due diligence. So
Really?
yeah,
Awesome.
Interesting.
Really
I mean, real estate investing can take you in so many directions.
Oh, it
That's what
can.
Joe's getting at. Are
Yeah,
you
yeah.
doing stocks? Are you doing
Yeah,
Bitcoin? What other things you on the side? But you don't need you, like you said, you got the 401k set up.
And I think there's areas I don't agree with Dave Ramsey on, but there's areas of David's opinions that I would agree on, and that is when it comes to investment. A lot of people think every investment works until it doesn't, right? Every investment works as long as you work.
Dave
and-
Ramsey is a national talk show host who also is a real estate investor.
I
and-
actually just bought his course.
Okay, there you go.
I guess he
Yeah.
sells courses too. Okay.
Yeah. So part of his philosophy is that invest in what you know, right?
He doesn't like debt. I know that.
Yeah. Well, and there's areas I can disagree with him on that too. But
Me too, because you know the
right.
rich dad, poor dad
Oh, yeah, for sure.
philosophy. You need debt is everybody's investors. It's debt. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Well, technically,
So,
all money is debt.
I think what he
pretty
means
much,
specifically is credit card debt. I think is more what Dave Ramsey's talking about.
I think even behind that, and he likes to cite the Bible a lot, which I do too. You have to know the context of why debt was a frowned upon concept in the Bible, and that was because even looking at the Roman history of Rome, where if you had debt and you couldn't pay for it, there wasn't a sophisticated bankruptcy law that we do here.
Right.
Here.
You're in prison. You're in debtor's prison.
Well, you couldn't file like a Chapter 13 bankruptcy if you wanted to.
Nope.
Back in those days, you basically had to sell yourself. You had to sell yourself to the creditor, right? And you became a slave, right? And so.
Which is maybe how some people wanted it, but anyway, we don't need to get into that conversation.
So the whole idea why the Bible talks about the debtor is basically you're enslaved, right, by your creditor, is because that's what ultimately the behavior that got you into the debt in the first place is ultimately going to lead you to the path of being slavery.
Well, let's talk about bringing in the rich dad, poor dad. You mentioned him earlier. We'll mention him again, and I mentioned him, Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
I mean, real estate investing is you're getting in debt with whoever you owe the bank, you owe the investor, somebody money. So let's talk about that. How your philosophy on that? How does that play into your strategy?
So what I was kind of alluding to is it's the behavioral aspect, right? So let's take credit card for example, right? If you are frivolously spending, and that's the reason why you're getting into debt. It's not the debt's the problem. It's your behavior, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's psychology, right? It's your and I could even tie that back to
why are you getting what makes you mentally? Oh, I can just spend and spend and spend and not worry about paying.
And it goes back to even if you go even deeper, it goes into a level of fear and emotional irregularity, right? Unable to regulate your emotion. There's not to get into
maybe there's some fear of missing out kind of syndrome
for
too
sure,
going on there too.
I can identify with that, not regulating my emotions.
Yeah. There's spending patterns that people have just to cope with their stress, right? There's spending patterns that people have just to deal with some kind of trauma. There's spending trauma that has to do with some level of feeling like they're wanted, or it's all very primitive psychology when it comes to money. All money is psychology technically.
Mm-hmm.
So going to your the line of thought with debt, the reason why I see investing in real estate and getting involved in debt as an acceptable practice is because you're not in debt because you went on a Vegas trip and blew $100,000 in a bad.
You're supposed to be
hand.
a money making venture. I get it.
Right.
You're in debt because you see the outcome, the potential for the outcome.
I'm letting the audience kind of get your advice because I want to get into that now. Maybe we like 10 minutes or so here because there's so much to talk about with you. We really do want to have you back and maybe get more specific. But the seminars that you offer now,
Yeah.
What are you talking about this of how use
for
the
sure.
debt? Where do you get lenders, stuff like that?
Yeah. So part of what we do at Accelerate Banking is we help homeowners pay off their mortgage faster. That's kind of the vehicle.
So get out of that debt.
Yeah. So most of our clients, the problem is not necessarily the mortgage. It's again, going back to the psychology aspect of it. A lot of the clients that we have, they're in their 40s, 50s, and even 60s. And they're now just realizing, holy smokes, like my 30-year mortgage is going to outlast me, right? And I'm going to be 90 by the time this thing's paid off. And that leads to a lot of hopelessness, uncertain future. They experience a level of, anxiety and depression just because, oh my God. And a lot of it kind of converges with midlife crisis too. It's like, holy smokes, I'm 50. My 401k is nearly non-existent. It's more like a 101k.
How'd you figure me out?
Well, it's people think it's safe. I mean, I guess it is because it's long term, but it's in the market.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Depending on when you cash it out, I guess.
Yeah. And a lot of people,
your age, I guess.
A lot of people are financially incapable, or they don't have the basic level of decision making when it comes to finances. So they're a lot of our clients are in the 50s. 401k is nearly non-existent. Panic sets in, and what we do is we give people hope and provide a plan. Again, it's not necessarily all about the mortgage. It's, hey, we want to make you feel empowered, make you feel like you can do something about your situation so that you can make a better decision. Part of that comes with education. Part of that does come with help, having someone, being part of a community. That all helps. And again, we're solving a psychological and in some aspects spiritual problems that ultimately leads to what ends up shows up as a financial problem. Right?
So what you're doing in talking to people, is that through they go to the seminars, they buy your books, or you just like mentor them? How
we have a consulting program.
Okay.
Kind of works like an advisory type of context. We have a beautiful, amazing team of people who great advisors, great counselors. They work with the homeowners and individuals. But yeah, I mean,
well, let's say your name. It's you and your brother, the Kwak brother. Then you are Sam.
Yeah.
Kwak, and your brother. You didn't say your brother's name.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah, or maybe you did. I missed it.
Yeah.
Sam and Daniel Kwak.
Pay attention.
I must be missing some things, but I want to reiterate for the audience so they know how to get a hold of you. If they want to get involved with, what could people get involved with you? They hire you as a consultant, or you come out and invest with them?
We do myriad of things. Our core message is we want to help American families experience financial peace of mind. That can come in different shape or format. If it's you have a mortgage, you're in debt, you feel there's no plan for your future, then we can help you with that. If you're in the opposite problem, where you have too much money and you have no place or no opportunity to invest, we may have some opportunities for that. If maybe you're kind of in the middle, where you don't have debt, you don't have a whole lot of money, you want to get into real estate yourself, we can help you with that too.
Okay.
So we kind of do myriad of things through our teams, through the different companies we have.
So if somebody's looking for a place to invest in, you can help like get land. Like our company's looking to expand out in Indiana. Like, and it's like, there's a couple real estate agents for commercial that we're talking with, but I want like the inside deal. I could talk to you off the air, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we help some aspects of that.
You get like the little tips, like, ooh, that land, you got to get that,
Yeah, we do that through our real estate coaching program that we do have. So there's some of the things we do. Engage.
That's great.
Yeah.
And so if people want to get a hold of you to hire you, for instance, or just find out more about the books, where are we finding you?
Yeah. thekwakbrothers.com. TheKwak brothers.
It's Kwak, not Quack.
Yeah.
I said Kwak.
Kwak brothers.
I did not say Kwak.
Yes,
Have I been saying
did.
Kwak brothers?
No,
I think I said both. Sorry.
Yeah. No, there's been so many people who butchered our name. At this point, I'm like numb to it.
Spell it again. KWAK.
Yeah. The Kwak brothers. thekwakbrothers.com. That's kind of our like main resource hub. We have free stuff, free books, free courses, free videos. Go check them out. Yeah.
Great. I definitely will. I mean, like I
Yeah.
said, I'm trying to go back to what that seminar would have been. That would have been a whole like investment group. I don't remember what it was. It was
Yeah.
getting me to join something.
Yeah.
So that was not you by yourself. That was a whole.
No, yeah, we
company
were
or
part of a bigger company. We're
Okay.
part of a bigger organization.
Okay.
We left that company again 5 years ago. Good company, good organization. It just we had a different idea on how to do things.
Well, I
so.
guess I want to go to some of the. Do you do seminars then? I mean, you said you went to your college, but
Yeah.
that was more of like
Yeah.
kind of just giving advice to be an entrepreneur, but
Yeah.
specifically your field, like
Yeah.
talking about.
You've been invited to do a few seminars, haven't
We
you?
have, yeah. We actually did. We actually got one done today. We had a weekend seminar for our students. We, all across the country had them invited over, so they flew in this weekend. Yeah, and
to Chicago area.
yeah. We had a good time. Yeah, and then we're probably gonna do one again next year, early next year. But a lot of the things we do now are virtual. So a lot of Zoom calls, Zoom seminars.
Seems like everybody's doing that.
Yeah,
you don't need to go to
so
the
easy.
thing anymore. I mean, I like going to Vegas for a convention, but
Sure,
they do them.
Well,
you can
events
just
are very expensive.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a lot of
So
money involved there
expensive,
versus just do the nice, Zoom or whatever you're going to use,
sure.
whatever the software is. So, but they were physically, they flew, like you said, they flew in for this one.
Yeah.
Those are big money guys, I'm thinking, right? They were going to buy $1 million of property with you or something.
No, they were there to learn. A few of them already have done a deal through our coaching, which is really good. We actually had some of those students who done the deals also speak at this event. So they're
really
kind
cool.
of speaking out their experience, their journey as well.
Always good to have like somebody that's doing it.
Oh,
like
sure.
an example.
And then we're helping to build them up too, because that also helps them with their business as well. So yeah, we're helping to build our students up, but we try to pair students that have done the deals and the students that have not. So kind of let them merge and let the beliefs kind of converge a little bit, because that's a lot of again, money making is a lot of it is psychology, right?
You haven't really talked a lot about, but it's just kind of common sense. It's a lot of good networking and meeting like mentors and stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you guys are. I'm going to talk to you. You're going to be the mentor. I think it sounds great. I love having you here. This is interesting. Again, it's Kwak Brothers.
Yes.
Sorry, KWAK.
You're good, man.
But it's Kwak.com. Say the website again.
Yeah, the KwakBrothers.com.
Got it. Okay. So that's how everybody wants to reach you. If anybody wants to reach you, I should say, go to the website, start there. And do you give like investment tips then too? I would guess you do, right? If they hire you as a consultant, or you always want to get involved with the project?
We do a lot more coaching, consulting. It's very rare if someone were to approach us for us to actually engage in a project or deal with them. We're just really careful, just because you probably have experienced it yourself. We're just really, really careful who we bring in the most inner circle, right?
I mean,
Makes
the
sense.
partners.
Yeah. So
I do have, unfortunately, I've had some really bad experiences with that. Friends of the family you'd think would be reliable didn't work out. So I kind of like meeting them at these types of events, networking.
Yeah.
We all have similar interests, obviously. So, and money, apparently. Right. You need that. So, by the way, if people want to maybe purchase from you a property, can they also go on the website and do that? Or are you hold on to most of those?
Yeah,
I know that's more your philosophy.
We're not selling.
You're not selling a lot.
Yeah, no, and that's the other thing we don't do is we don't do any brokering.
Okay, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
You want the consistent revenue from the rental.
We don't do brokering, and then I feel for the people who are brokers today in this season of the market.
It's a tough one.
Yeah,
I think it depends upon where you are in the country.
That's true. Yeah. Like if you're in, I don't know, places like Idaho, Florida, Texas, maybe. But
especially with like BlackRock and all those companies out there,
they're buying up everything, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know them guys?
Yeah, we talked about them in our YouTube channel a few times. I think the stats. I think the corporate buyers actually they make up less than 5% of all buyers.
Wow.
I know, it's surprisingly.
That is surprising.
Yeah.
I would have thought that it would have been a lot larger, because I thought the whole thing in the media lately is how. Is it BlackRock, Joe, or one of the other big ones?
There's a couple of
them
that are, or Blackstone that is literally buying all of the residential homes. Maybe not townhomes, but single family.
Yeah, surprisingly,
like everywhere in the U.S. Maybe
yeah.
the world, but definitely U.S.
A lot of, I think the stat, and I haven't checked this in a while, but the stat is they're doing a lot of new development, and which I think is actually helping.
Okay.
Because I think right now, even Fed Chair Jerome Powell said this is we just don't have enough housing for everybody, right? So, I think the facts.
Years from now, they're going to add up.
I hope so, yeah. But the facts is, I think less than 5% of all buying activity, at least the recent data that I have,
was corporate.
Corporate, yeah.
Interesting.
Everything else is like guys like you and me.
The market's pretty flooded right now. Apparently, I had a couple friends trying to get houses. And
inventory, man. That's the problem. Low
beautiful.
inventory is the problem.
We used to actually, another thing we used to do is be custom home residential builders. Is another thing we did in the high end, the upper bracket homes in the higher end areas. The people that are listening that aren't from Chicago don't know how nice it is. Hinsdale, River Forest, Lake Forest. We did all the fancy areas,
nice.
Oak Brook, and that was. I think we're there again, but this is like 20 years ago when it was really hot and it was the same thing.
Right.
Now we've got an influx of people from everywhere. I mean, it was more of a like an elite group back then. Now it seems like everybody's got millions of dollars they're throwing around. I don't know what's going on there, but it's definitely good to get in touch with you to talk about strategy. I guess if they want to rent a property, I could talk to you about that too.
Yeah, they could talk through our management company. They do that too. So we do work with the management.
Well, you
company.
still got those 84. How many was it? How many properties you had? You got a lot more now. Rentals.
Yeah. So we run it through the management company. We're actively buying a
lot more than 82 properties. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'll tell you what. There's so much more we could talk about, but we only got an hour, so I guess we're gonna have to have you back in. Maybe when you're doing a seminar,
sure.
We could push it for you and just have you on and talk about more of the details of what you talk about in that. And I don't know, get people to sign up.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't here for that, but
I'm just saying we could do it. We don't have to.
Yeah.
Just idea I'm throwing out there on the air.
Sure.
Put you on the spot, right?
Yeah,
sorry, didn't mean to do that. But it was a pleasure speaking with you. And what a small world. I mean, I would have never thought that you were coming on and who you were. I noticed the logo. That's what made me recognize the name.
Okay.
I'm like, I know I've talked to those guys.
Yeah.
But again, it was probably 2017. So that's 7 years ago.
Yeah. That would have been right at the kind of the pickup point, right? The base of the hockey line, if you will.
Yeah. Or May 18, 2018, I think it was.
Yeah. 2018. Yeah. Right before COVID.
The pivotal moment, pretty much.
But time flies, doesn't it?
Man, that's already that's 6 years ago.
Yeah, man. Jeez,
oh my gosh.
I'm losing track of time. And then I had a health incident this year. I lost months this year, but everybody's, I'm back. We're good. Sounds like you're doing awesome. And again, if they want to talk to you, they can go to your website and get a hold of you. But before we go, the YouTube channel, are you still doing any of that? Or?
Yeah, we're still active.
Okay.
Yeah, on our YouTube channel. Still regularly make content. Not as aggressively. We just again press for time.
And now your business is spread.
Yeah. So
what do you call the show?
It's just the Kwak Brothers.
Okay.
Yeah. We take one day out of the week. We film everything, and then we have a team that kind of does all the editing, splicing, and all that. So
nice,
awesome.
Yeah, I know about the editing. I'm working on that myself. With stuff. I got all kinds of stuff I got to edit.
For sure.
We don't just do it live. We archive it too. So,
okay, right on.
You'll be seen everywhere. That's for sure, and heard.
Sweet.
So it was a pleasure having you, Sam.
Yeah,
thanks for
having
coming
me,
on.
guys.
Fun.
Thank you, Sam.
really a lot of info. I feel like we need a lot more time. So we'll, like I said,
For
we'll work on maybe bring your brother next time.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Or your
we'll try to
partners.
get you guys back.
Get everybody in here.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. That's been another edition of the Bell and Company Hour. And thanks, Libby, for being with us. Of course, thanks, Joe. Thank you for coming, Sam, and Joe for getting him here. That's great.
Yeah, glad you came.
Yeah, thanks, Joe.
Just grateful for you.
Yeah.
It was great. A really good hour. And again, you can find us on IntellectualRadio.com. Of course, all the podcast sites, including iHeartRadio, and then, of course, YouTube. And then I'll have all these little clips pretty soon. So everybody just keep looking for us. Everybody take care. Have a good night. Bye.